Welcome to We Drink and We Farm Things.
This is the farm comedy podcast that is an adult happy hour for the farming community.
We drink adult beverages, talk about the ups and downs of farming things, and give zero clucks about not having the perfect farm life.
We keep it real with you and share the mistakes we've made and what we've learned so you can feel less alone in this farm thing.
We drink things, we farm things. We drink and farm things.
Oh, hey there, Sam.
Oh, hey there, Bev. What are you drinking in that mug this morning?
So what I'm drinking is not nearly as exciting as what you're drinking. I was running late this morning, so I just threw coffee in my favorite mug.
I mean, you know what? Sometimes simplicity is the way to go.
Yep, it is. It's snowing here. I wanted to make pancakes for breakfast. And I'm packing for a trip on Wednesday. And I was just like, I gotta keep it simple this morning.
There you go.
So what are you drinking over there?
So I am drinking a Virgin Mary.
Ooh, I like it.
So it's like I brought lunch in here with me, and you can see this big old pickle.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's just like a Virgin Mary. And I got some on my desk. But it's got just like vegetable juice in there. So I use like B8. There's horseradish, pickle juice, and I'm a big pickle fan. So there's all kinds of fun stuff in here, but it's basically a Bloody Mary without the vodka.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty delicious.
Nice.
And good for you because the vegetable juice has a couple servings of veggies in there. So I'm being healthy this morning.
I like it. I did not know that you could make a Bloody Mary version. So
yeah,
learned something new. Our drink thief this episode is our friend Elizabeth Steves, and she is at Steel02 over on the Instagram. So cheers, lady.
Cheers. All right. So before we get into today's topic, we're going to unbox our Henny and Rue boxes.
Ooh.
Ooh. Ah.
So Sam, I'll let you go first. What's your favorite thing out of the box?
I was not prepared to go first. That's okay.
Caught you off guard.
There we go. It's got to be this beautiful tote bag.
Oh my gosh, it's so pretty.
Yeah, there's a pretty chicken on it and it's floral, but it's got like darker colors. I don't know if yours is different or if anybody else's is different, but I really like this. Oh, we're matchy. I like it.
Well, and my favorite part of this too is this is my favorite chicken, Bellatrix. She's like from my original flock, and she follows me everywhere, and she's always really friendly. So she's my favorite. So now I have a bag that's like her bag.
Yeah, you can take her wherever you go, maybe on your trip.
Yes. Yeah, maybe.
Throw some accessories in there.
All right.
So aside from that bag, what else did you like in this month's box?
This will surprise nobody. I really love these chicken keeping journals. Like, it's just like a journal is just, it's a nice place to take notes. Like, I'm constantly like just writing and, putting pen to paper helps my brain remember things. That's just the way that mine works. And so any of these journals is just like fabulous. And like the end of the year, most of the time, these are just filled with like junk and things that I don't really need to save. So once they're full, they just, like get chucked. But sometimes there's something really cool in there that I can come back and visit later. So yeah.
I like it. Yeah. I constantly write little notes during work. And usually they don't make much sense like a couple days later. That's how I roll.
Yeah.
But that's a great piece to use too if you're not into like, daily entries about your chickens and what they're doing and how they're feeling. But if you're into that, that's fine too. I just have probably over 70 chickens, so I can't really do that.
Yeah.
That would be a full-time job.
Yeah. That would be for sure.
The next thing in our box is this Sunglass Case. So it's that silky
Ooh.
material, and it says chickens over people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I agree most days.
Most days, for sure.
Most days. Like people in general, not like specific people.
Yeah, that's fair.
I do like specific people.
Also in the box, we got a tube of triple antibiotic ointment. You can't have too much of this. I've got a whole bag. Henny and Rue sent us one of those big, it's not a canvas bag. It's made out of more of like a nylon type of material. It's blue and it's got like all the chicken stuff in it. All of this stuff, I just drop into it and it's hanging in my feed room inside my barn. And then anytime I have an animal that has an injury, I dig through that first, and everything in it is clean, still in packaging, and it's ready to go. So super handy. Here's a tip.
That's so funny. Is it the one with that's like light blue and has chickens all over it?
Mm-hmm.
I do the same thing in my barn.
Yeah. As soon as I saw it, that was exactly what I did. I hung it up in the barn, and now it's just stuffed to the brim with medical stuff. Oh,
easy to get to.
Mm-hmm.
We also got Henny and Rue Pectacular Grains and Mealworms.
Ooh.
Which I mean, with how many chickens I have, usually I just rip the bag open and like dump it in a line on the ground.
I do that too.
I go through it really quick. It sounds like you do too. But they love it. And it's a nice change up from some of the other snacks that they get.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Yeah.
We also got a mealworm banquet poultry cake. So it's like a suet cake, but for your chickens instead of the wild birds.
Yeah, it looks, I mean, I don't want to eat it, but if I was a chicken, it looks delicious.
Right. It's like a chicken granola bar.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's actually, you probably could eat it, you know. So there's dried mealworms, cranberries, sunflower kernels, tree nuts, like pistachios, almonds, cashews, and pecans.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's gelatin. I don't know about the gelatin part being human safe. It probably is, but I mean, don't eat it.
I'm sorry. It says not for human consumption on there, so don't do it.
Oh, there we go. Mystery solved. And then there's also a copy of Chicken Whisperer magazine.
Yep.
Yes.
Some light reading.
Yes. Full disclosure, these usually end up in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Not as toilet paper, but as reading material if someone forgets their phone. Just wanted to clear that up. Do not use that as toilet paper. That would be rude and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then each box comes with a nesting box liner. It's a comfy place for your chickens to lay their eggs. And it makes for recyclable or compostable packaging material, which is earth friendly, makes us happy.
Yeah. There's also a coupon in here for some pretty cute boots.
Oh,
these boots have chickens on them.
That's right. I saw that.
Look like they're easy to pull on too. So yeah, they're from Perfect Storm. So I might have to check that out.
Yeah,
because I could use I have my sloggers, but I could use like something between my heavy winter boots and a slogger, and I wonder if that would fit the bill.
Oh, that's a good idea. I have extra toughs and then my keen like work boots. So when the snow is deeper than my ankles, like it is today, I have to go with the extra toughs, and they don't have any insulation in them. So my feet are cold.
So if you want to snag a February Henny and Rue box, or any Henny and Rue box, if you're listening to this beyond the winter months, you can go to hennyandrue.com and use code DRINKANDFARM to get 10% off your first box.
Yep, that's right.
All right. So I'm excited. We're going to do a 2-parter with our regular episodes. So this one drops at the end of January. The next one will drop at the beginning of February. We're going to start talking about bees and honey. Yay. Because oh, you guys, just wait for the bee puns. First you had the chicken puns, then you had the cow puns. Now it's time for the bee puns.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna talk about bees, and we're gonna specifically cover in this episode kind of some like bee basics, but really more like the motivation around why they make honey. Because like really, they're not making it for us specifically. We just reap the rewards.
Right.
Yeah. So before humans were like, digging into beehives, why were they doing that? And what is honey made of? How is it made, etc. So that'll be over the next 2 episodes.
Awesome. I like it.
Yes. So the source we'll be using for the next 2 episodes is from perfectbee.com. And so we'll just jump right in.
Yeah. I have a question.
Yeah.
Before we get started. So, okay, so we're going to talk about bees. And a common question that I always see people have when they're talking about bees is like, do all bees make honey? Or is it just certain types of bees?
Certain types of bees is the correct answer. So not all of them are created equal when it comes to producing honey. So many bees pollinate and collect pollen to store for the cold months so they can survive. Honeybees collect nectar and pollen to make their sweet survival food, honey. In fact, they produce honey, beeswax, propolis, and royal jelly, which sounds super fancy.
That does sound fancy.
Yeah. So there are only about 7 species with the honeybee family, but there are over 40 subspecies recognized within these species. The magnificent little creatures that give us such wonderful, sweet treat are heavy-duty worker bees. So in short, all bees create and output something to help them make it through the winter, but it's not all the sweet stuff that we like to enjoy as well.
Okay. Yeah, I did always wonder why other bees, like native types of bees, collected pollen, but didn't produce honey. So that totally makes more sense now. Now I get it. Because I was like, what motivates native bees to go pollinate your vegetable garden if it's not to collect the pollen and turn it into honey, but it's to collect the pollen to just survive through the winter. Yeah. Okay.
Really, if you think about it, that's pretty smart because they're not going to have any human or bear come in and eat the sweet stuff.
Yeah, no Pooh Bear going and bugging them.
No. Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
So for bees that do create honey, they can consume 102 to 200 pounds of honey in a year for a large colony. So again, the honey is for them too, not just for us. Mm-hmm. So that kind of made me wonder, okay, well, like what happens when we come in and take the honey? Like, do we have to leave them some too? But we'll learn more about that over the next 2 episodes. Yeah. So I won't spoil it.
I was going to say, I actually know the answer to that one, but that's okay.
Let's sit on that one.
We will.
Cliffhanger to bring people back. Mm-hmm. So why do bees make honey and how do they use it? So think of someone, maybe yourself, who preserves and stores their own food and why they might do that. So somebody might tell you it's because they want to feed their families a healthy variety of foods with lots of vitamins and minerals throughout the cold months, which is definitely, a growing motivation of mine now that I know that I really like being able to pull vegetables out of the freezer. Like it's really gratifying to do that.
Yep.
There also might be some motivation that they would like to be as certain about how much food they have for maybe survival purposes, regardless of circumstances. So, I think that for me, sometimes it's like survival, but I think it's almost like a balance between convenience and survival. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're seeing some empty shelves right now and stuff like that, but it's not to the point where like I'm super duper concerned personally. But I know I have enough food in the freezer to feed me for probably a couple months if something really did go badly. Yeah. Which is a nice thing to feel that comfort level.
Yep, it is. I like it because like today it's snowing. We're not going anywhere. Like,
Yeah.
not until something plows our driveway, which
Right.
probably isn't going to happen. So,
And you can avoid the rush to the store before a big storm happens too, where people, maybe they don't shop. I tend to shop for 2 weeks at a time anyways. But not everybody does that because they like to go in and get their fresh produce, and you can't keep fresh produce for like 2 weeks typically.
yeah, not everything.
Yeah. So there are some benefits there.
Yeah.
So circling back to honey, bees do that because they need to eat in the winter. Because honey provides necessary energy through its vitamins and sugars. So if you've ever heard the term busy as a bee, that's very literal. Bees flap their wings over 11,000 times in a minute.
Whoa.
Yeah. So that means they need a lot of energy to do that. Storing their own honey helps guarantee that they have what they need throughout the year, because bees are very proactive. So if you find like a wild hive, you might be surprised to see that they put enough aside to last them for a few years. Like, they're honey hoarders.
Wow. I had no idea they would do that.
Yeah. If something were to happen to prevent them from foraging, say like a drought or lack of vegetation for foraging, the hive could potentially support a colony of bees of around 60,000 at peak times for a few years.
Whoa.
So these are wild bees.
Yeah, they are.
The ones you might be keeping in your backyard. They are full on preppers.
Prepper bees.
Bees also need honey to feed their young, and they also need it to help survive those cold winter months, like they said, because obviously they're not going out to forage for food when everything is cold and dead outside.
What is honey made out of? Because we talked about honey and like what they do with it, but like, how do they make it?
Right. So we'll call out a couple of things here. We'll call the makeup of honey, and then it turns out there are different types of honey. So for the makeup of honey, it's important to know that it does not spoil due to the process known as crenation. This ensures when honey has been drained of much of its water and with such a high sugar concentration, it will not spoil. So you can think of like making like a simple syrup with a lot of sugar in it. It can stay good because of that high sugar concentration.
That totally makes sense.
Bees do it better.
Bees do it better. Yeah. So when you see a jar of honey and you know that it's actually just honey that's in the jar and not anything else, and it's like all crystallized, and you're looking at it and you're like, is this so good? Like, should I throw this away? Is it spoiled? The answer is it's fine. It's just hardened. So maybe pop it in the microwave for 10 seconds and soften it again.
Yeah. No, I've been in that situation before, and it does kind of like gross me out a little bit, but yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Bees need certain vitamins, nutrients, lipids, and minerals for their survival. So honey supplies most of that for them. Honey is made up of about 82% carbohydrates, which is mainly made from fructose and glucose. And it also contains a variety of enzymes that help convert other enzymes into fructose and glucose.
Oh, okay.
And honey also has 18 different amino acids, which I did not know that.
Neat.
And, if that wasn't enough, honey contains a variety of vitamins and minerals, including vitamin B, B6, C, calcium, iron, zinc, potassium, magnesium, chromium, as well as antioxidants like flavonoids. So I would feel like honey could be called like a superfood, but people don't call honey a superfood.
I think some people do call it a superfood. Oh, and that last one is chromium.
Oh,
yeah.
My bad.
No, because I knew what that was. So I just wanted to.
No, thank you.
Quick corrections corner.
Corrections corner for next episode.
Yeah.
So anyone familiar with diabetes and carbs probably understands the breakdown of honey, because like we said, honey is mostly carbohydrates. Carbs break down quickly, and when they do, the carbs are then converted to sugar. This in turn turns into the energy bees need. So basically, bees run around all day on a sugar high.
So like your kids the day after Halloween.
Yeah, that's bees
All the time. 365, 24/7.
Sadly, most worker bees only live a matter of weeks during the peak season, and they do not sleep. So we said sugar high, but I feel like this is more like a cocaine bender.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They effectively work themselves to death during that time and need a great deal of energy to get that job done. And while honey gives them the huge energy boost they need, it also provides the necessary vitamins and minerals they need to maintain good health during their short life.
Oh, okay.
So they are fast and furious little workers and don't live very long, which I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize that either, but like I knew lots of different types of insects didn't live very long, so it makes logical sense to me.
Yeah. So like we mentioned, there are a couple different types of honey. In the South, it is very common to see clover and goldenrod honey. And there are different impacts. So depending on what is around you and what kind of honey you're harvesting or what kind of honey you buy, it's really impacted by the different flowers in your area. The type of honey your bees make will depend on those plants that they're visiting. So you can't really tell them like, hey, go over to my rose bushes or something like that. They're going to do what they want. But if you have something more prevalent, like goldenrod certain times of years, that could be heavily influencing the taste, aroma, texture, and color of the honey that you get.
Oh, okay.
So a good rule of thumb, if you're picky about your honey, is that honey that is clear or very light in color will usually be milder or less sweet. Darker honey will often be more pronounced taste and be sweeter than the lighter kind. So if you're eyeballing some honey from somebody locally, that's kind of a good tip off for what you might be getting.
Yeah.
So if bees visit lavender to make their honey, the honey will likely have a lavender scent, which sounds delightful to me.
It does. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. If they tend to visit clover fields, their honey may be less sweet, lighter in color, and have a thinner texture than other honey. And bees can make honey from blueberry bushes, avocado plants, clover, buckwheat, sage, wildflowers, and even poison ivy.
Ooh.
There is even a mystery of how purple honey happens, because apparently it happens, but people haven't nailed down why it happens.
Interesting.
I would be thrilled to have purple honey because it's my favorite color.
Mm-hmm.
But it probably would be like, what the heck is this for a while?
It must be from something that I have two theories. Either there is a plant or flower out there that has purple pollen, and that's what dyes it the purple color, or there's some sort of reaction, like, you know, like an oxidation or something like that happens because of whatever the chemical makeup of the pollen is from that particular flower, that it has when it's put in, you know, like when it goes through its process of actually becoming honey. So those are my two theories. I'm a scientist over here.
The Ross PhD.
On my way. No, I'm not. The only reason I would,
because you're
go ahead.
You're taking logical steps in your knowledge to understand something.
Yeah.
And that's really all we can do as human beings. So
right.
I think those are reasonable guesses. You're not just because it's the bee's favorite colors. That's why they turned it purple.
Right. The only reason I would go get a PhD is so that every time something was delivered, I could be like, yes, that is just what the doctor ordered.
Oh, God.
And there's my dad joke for the day.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Oh, that's a good one. Okay. So a few fascinating facts about honey production to wrap up part 1. Like we mentioned, honey is never going to go bad. And as long as you keep it away from air and water, it's good for years. And that reason that honey won't spoil is because without air and water, it is hard for any organism to survive in those conditions of how the honey is made. And that gives it a very long shelf life. That's one of the things I really like about the idea of keeping bees, is that it produces a product that has that really long shelf life.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's a product that I can't move immediately, that's okay. And it's not going to hurt anything. So I think that's a great benefit to keeping bees, whether you just want to keep the honey for yourself, or if you do want to share it with friends and family, or sell it.
Mm-hmm.
One difference between raw organic honey and plain honey off a store shelf is that raw organic honey contains pollen. Pollen actually offers many benefits to both humans and bees. So raw organic honey will contain pollen as a source of protein for bees, which is needed to maintain their energy levels, especially in those colder months when we talked about how they just can't go out. They're really not going out to the store that time of year.
Nope.
So they need that pollen in there.
The store is closed all winter for them.
It's just shut right down. Poor little bees.
Oh.
Another fact that kind of blew my mind is that it takes 2 million flowers to produce 1 pound of honey.
Wow, that's a lot of flowers.
Yeah. Yes. I also think it's extremely fascinating that one honeybee produces about 1/12 of a teaspoon of honey in her lifetime.
Wow.
Yeah. So 2 million flowers, but a little honeybee is just going to make a teeny tiny tips of a teaspoon in their life. So this is why it's really important that maybe you don't want to keep bees, but planting things for the bees to come visit is really important to overall bee health and honey production. Honey weighs about 12 pounds per gallon. So that's real heavy. And then the most expensive honey in the world is called Elvish, not Elvish, not Elvis, not Elfish, Elvish honey. So that's ELVISH. It is naturally made in Turkey and sells for about $6,800 per kilogram.
Whoa.
Which translates to about $850 per cup.
Okay, I'm glad we put that in English for us. American English.
Yes. Yeah. So I wonder why it's so expensive. I might have to dig into that a little more now that I've read that a couple of times, but that's wild. Like
so much. Yeah, that's so much money for honey. Like, is it like going to like Golden Flowers? I don't know.
Honey is usually sold by weight instead of volume. So make sure you keep this in mind when purchasing honey, because it can either be sold on or off the comb. If you purchase with the comb, then you're not going to get as much honey.
But you do get a really awesome snack to kind of like chew on. It's pretty cool.
Yes. The next time you see a honeybee, hopefully, you have some new respect for it after learning some things about them. And then we'll continue this conversation next week. We're going to talk about like the steps. I mean, bees don't really step, but the steps they take to create honey.
Oh, okay.
Which I'm super excited about.
Yeah,
so
I'm excited
like
about that too.
A foundation now of like the why they do it. So next is going to be the how, which I'm excited about.
Yeah,
because I knew nothing before researching this. So I'm thrilled to share it with everybody.
Yeah. One of my favorite beekeepers to follow over on the Instagram, if anyone's interested in just like seeing more every day, like in their Instagram feed about honeys, is Homestead in the Hood. is their
Yeah.
beekeepers. And it's funny, it took me a little while to get their name, but now I get it. It's Homestead in the Hood because of the bee hood. Like, yeah.
Oh, do I follow them? 'Cause I was
Probably.
thinking I might. Let me
Yeah.
look real quick. Homestead in the Hood. That's
and then
funny.
Elder Oaks Farm, she's back on Instagram, and she keeps bees also, but they just moved to Montana, and I cannot remember if they took their bees with them or if they're going to start over in Montana. I believe they're starting over, but I might be wrong about that.
I think
just
they
because
are too.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a big move.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a little jealous of her because I'm a fan of Yellowstone, and that's in Montana, and it just makes me want to move there. But oh my god, it's so expensive for like for my taste. I'll say.
Oh, okay.
It's expensive.
Fun fact, the part of Montana that she moved to is really close to where I lived for a little while when I was in 4th grade. Yep.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and my grandmother still lives there, so I'll probably go out there eventually.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So make sure you leave us a review if you haven't already, or even if you have. If you have already, you can leave us a voicemail. The number is in the show notes. And you can leave a review that way, or you can head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review there. You want to do this because we take all the reviews we read for that month, draw a name out of a hat, and the person gets an exclusive coffee mug that is not and never will be in the shop. So this is our last reading for this month. And then I believe I think we have one more review. So if you haven't gotten in there yet, you might want to do that if you want a chance at the February mug.
For sure.
Do you want to read this week's review?
Yes, I would love to read this one's review because I actually know this person in real life, like real life, not just on Instagram. So this is from my friend Emily, and she is Emmers42. And the title of this review is Supporting My Homesteading Dreams. And she says, moved from the big city to a small town. She moved from Phoenix, the same place that I moved from, dreaming of a more self-sufficient and sustainable life. Bev and Sam make me laugh while helping the city girl learn to produce more of my own food. Episodes are always just on time. Today, I was talking about cranberries. This episode was left in November. And she's new to one of the 5 states where these tart little treats grow. And I wanted to know more. And lo and behold, an episode about cranberries. Thanks, ladies.
I love it when our timing works out so well.
I do too. Yeah. I mean, that's one argument for listening to the episodes as they come out. Like if you're new here and you're wondering like, well, do I start from the beginning or do I just pick up now? My recommendation would be to pick up now and listen, and then just slowly listen to the back episodes as you want to, or as you have extra time. Like say you're driving, like for multiple hours or whatever, and need multiple episodes. That would be my suggestion, just because we do try to be kind of timely and seasonal about what we talk about. That way it'll help you in the moment. Yeah. So thank you, Emily, for leaving that review. That always makes me happy to see people that I know listening and being happy with what we make here. So
thank you. So just really quick housekeeping. If you're listening to this, it would be great if you would do us a favor and share this episode over on your Instagram stories and tag us at Drink and Farm, because we're going to send you a promo code just for that episode that'll give you a percentage off in our shop, which you want because the February shirt of the month is dropping soon, if it hasn't already. And Bev's wearing that shirt today. And I feel like last year's, Valentine's shirt was amazing. It actually sold really well, but it was very seasonal. This one, I feel like you could wear year round.
Yeah, I agree. I'm in agreement. I got mine in pink. So that's
it's very cute.
Valentine's
like
colors.
Color on
you.
Yeah. Looks nice. All right. So make sure you also take a look at the show notes so you can find a link to the article we discussed. there's also a link to a survey where you can tell us how we're doing. And then also our social media and that merch shop where that shirt is living. That you can go snag for yourself as a Valentine's Day present to yourself.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
No, I do. I'm married and I do that all the time.
Yeah. It works.
Yes. All right. So that's it.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. So
Yep.
until next time,
Drink.
bar.
And give 0 plugs. Bye now.
We drink things, we farm things, we drink and farm things.